welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing amazing. In today's video, I will be tapping into the energies of the person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. So as per usual, the timestamps will be in the description bar below as well as the comments. So let's just get started here. Okay, so starting off with Aries. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, so we have the star card on the bottom of the deck. Some of you could be thinking of an Aquarian or a Pisces with the Hanged Man here. There's some sort of healing that is taking place between you and another individual. I do see someone having a shift in perspective with the Hanged Man here, but with the star card, it's like this shift in perspective is resulting in some form of healing, okay? Now, the person that you're thinking about, they could be letting go of a very heavy emotion, or there could be some sort of forgiveness taking place, is what I'm seeing here. Let's see. How is this person feeling about Aries? Okay, so we have the Nine of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. I feel like this is someone who is wanting to come forward with like a kind gesture, or you are seeing an increase in their effort this week. Now, what is not visible to you is there is a bit of an anxious energy here with the Nine of Swords being the first card in their feelings. I feel like this is someone who's feeling a bit stressed out, or they're a bit nervous. And the Nine of Swords, it doesn't mean that you have given this person a reason to be stressed out or nervous. This is just an energy of overthinking or overanalyzing a situation. So this person is hoping, or they may have a vision in mind that they're hoping that things go as planned here. Okay. And this could also be someone who's, they have a plan in mind. They want to come forward with like a kind gesture, or they want to invest in the situation, but they're over analyzing their every move, or they're overthinking some sort of communication. Okay. So you may know that or know this about this person here, where you feel like they do more thinking than, in comparison to doing, or you feel like they're really up in their mind a lot. So we have the Death card. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio, and we have the King of Cups. Okay. So what I see here, guys, is like there definitely could have been an ending between you and this individual, but I'm strongly getting that they want to open up to you. They want to have a heart-to-heart conversation. But with the King of Cups and the Nine of Swords, there's something about opening up and being vulnerable that is stressing them out. And again, I think that they're really up in their mind about you, or they're, thinking about the worst case scenario, right? It doesn't mean that you're not going to receive what they want to tell you in a positive way. This is just more so what's going on in their mind. So this could be someone who struggles to open up emotionally. This could be someone who knows how they feel about you, but they're having a hard time, articulating that to you, or, putting their emotions into words. Nine of Swords, Three of Pentacles. They want to come to a mutual agreement here. If there is a disagreement, if there are any obstacles, they want to be on the same page as you. And this is someone who, again, like, I feel like they want to take a practical approach, but this week they feel like their emotions are really up and down when it comes to you, when it comes to the situation with you. So maybe some days feel easier than others is what I'm sensing here. We have the Justice card clarifying the Six of Pentacles. This is an energy of making something right, or doing the right thing even if it feels difficult. This could be in the form of an apology. This could be just be taking accountability or owning up to something that caused an ending between the both of you. Okay. And for some of you, the Justice card could also indicate someone who is going through some form of like legal matters. That's not going to be the case for all of you, but Three of Pentacles and Justice card is working something out with you, wanting to come to a mutual agreement. But I do see someone who's extremely stressed out when it comes to being vulnerable. Some of you could be dealing with the Libra. We have the Six of Cups, yeah. So this is someone who feels like you guys, have a lot of memories together. It's a very nostalgic energy coming through here with the Six of Cups. But I also feel like this is someone who wants to restore some sort of balance in this connection. Okay, with the Six of Cups clarifying the Death card, I definitely think that this is someone who feels like there was some sort of innocence that was stripped from this connection, whether it's a miscommunication, whether it's, something a little bit, larger than that, but they feel like they could have handled this situation in a better way. They are feeling sorry, but I'm strongly getting like some sort of innocence being stripped from this connection. And we did see the Hanged Man. So, it could be that they're having a shift in perspective. I mishandled the situation. I feel like Aries doesn't view me in the same light. And this is what I want to change moving forward. Okay, so we have the Eight of Swords clarifying the King of Cups. I mean, needless to say, I did already mention that there's a very anxious and stressed energy with the Nine of Swords, but we have the Eight of Swords, which is some form of mental restrictions that this person feels this week. Okay, so they're thinking about you, but they also feel very, very stuck. I also feel, guys, like this is someone when they talk themselves out of doing things a lot. Like you may feel like there's a lack of action in the 3D when it comes to this connection. And I see that as well because, again, I'm getting a strong energy of someone who maybe, for example, picks up their phone. They're like, I'm going to call Aries. And they're like, you know what? No, I'm not. It's not the right time. Or I don't know what to say. Or I don't know what to do. Like they talk themselves out of doing things. Even if they have a plan in mind, they're like, this is exactly what I'm going to do. It's like backing out of something last minute. There's like, you have someone here who's operating from fear-based thoughts. The Ten of Pentacles. Wow. What's the Justice card? The Chariot. Some of you could be dealing with the Cancerian, but what I see is someone who does have commitment on their mind, who is seeking some sort of stability with you. But I say this with transparency. I really feel like this is a week where there's more planning going on, and there's a lot of stress and anxiety surrounding opening up to you. And Eight of Swords could also be like feeding into your pessimistic thoughts or, thinking about something in particular where you feel you're causing yourself to feel very stuck. The pro of that card is it's usually like a self-imposed energy, right? So you can take yourself out of that mental state of mind, but obviously that's easier said than done. They want to see progress. I do see with the Ten of Pentacles that they want more stability. And when you have the Ten of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles, that's usually something that, it's like an energy of wanting to build, but knowing that it's going to take time. It's not like an overnight process. And the Six of Cups, the Moon card. There's a lot that this person feels like is hidden in this connection. There may be some sort of illusions that they're having a hard time seeing past. And I'm strongly feeling that with the Swords energy as well as the Moon card. That could be when like, there's like an illusion they're having a hard time, seeing past, or the reality of the situation seems very different in their mind. And that's why they're overcomplicating, a solution here. And the Two of Cups, yeah. I mean, I strongly feel, Aries, like this is someone who does have a lot of love for you, but I think this week they're trying to, you know, um, collect their thoughts or like organize their emotions in a way. Like they feel very bombarded by so many different feelings and, so many different, really just so many different feelings and thoughts. But I do see that they have a plan to come forward. It's just, I also sense a bit of a stagnant energy because of the overthinking and overanalyzing that's going on here. Okay. So that is what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Taurus. Okay, Taurus, let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, so we have the Seven of Swords on the bottom of the deck, and we have the King of Swords. Okay. Some of you could be thinking of an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, specifically getting Aquarius with the Seven of Swords here. The person you're thinking about, I mean, It could be someone that you're currently not speaking to, or they are a bit hard for you to read this week. Like maybe if you see this person on a day-to-day basis, they're in this like very poker face energy. But I also see with the Seven of Swords here that this may be an individual you view as sneaky, or someone who, is feeling connected to you, but there's some sort of strategy, behind their communication or intentions here. Okay. How is this person feeling about Taurus? And the King of Swords and the Seven of Swords, guys, it could also indicate someone who is planning to come forward, but they're currently like silent with you. Like there's some, like it's an energy of creating a plan, but keeping it to themselves. It could be an individual who operates in a very discreet manner. Okay, so we have the Strength card. Some of you could be thinking of a Leo, and we have the Four of Swords. Yeah, so this is someone that has withdrawn their energy, and you're possibly not speaking to them in the current moment. Okay, because with the Strength card, I do feel like they're acknowledging their emotions towards you, but this is a period of, or they are in a period of solitude. Okay, there's a lot of silence that is impacting them, but I also see someone who's like refraining from speaking about their emotions. A very withdrawn energy. And then we have the Empress. So some of you could be dealing with a Libra or another Taurus like yourself. They see a lot of potential with you. I think that when this person is thinking of you this week, they're realizing that you are the entire package. They almost hold you on a very high pedestal here, Taurus, but I'm strongly getting that like this is someone who is planning to break this silence, okay? But they're coming in a very subtle way, or they're coming in when you least expect it. It's like a very silent and discreet energy. I mean, yes, I am picking up on the lack of communication, but I also see someone who is moving towards you very discreetly. Like it's not someone who's subliminally hinting something at you or giving you an idea that they want to speak. I think it's going to be very unexpected here. Okay. We have the Seven of Cups. I think there's a lot of confusion. This person is looking at the connection as there have been a lot of mixed signals between the both of you. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio. This could also be someone who was, keeping their options open in the past, connecting with you, but not wanting to make a firm decision, or not wanting to put all their eggs in one basket. But I do see that they're wanting to clear up some sort of confusion. I also am strongly getting that this is someone who feels like they made the wrong choice. The Seven of Cups, it is, keeping your options open. It is when you have choices. But there are many different things in each of those cups there, right? So, like, for example, one of the cups has a snake, and maybe you don't want that, cup. So I feel like there's like a decision that feels very wrong, or they're going back on something that they decided to do in the past, and they're reevaluating that. Okay. For some of you, I feel like you're thinking of an individual who felt like, the grass was greener on the other side, right? Or they made a choice thinking that it was right for them in the moment, and now there's a lot of regret. And I think that's why they're also returning in a very discreet way. I think there's a level of guilt, sure, but I also feel like this is someone who's just not proud of their actions. Ace of Swords. This could indicate like a breakthrough, or kind of like a finally moment, finally communicating with someone after a period of, separation, or a period of no contact here. And I feel like this is someone who is opening up to you. They are being truthful. But the other definition of the Ace of Swords is like needing to leave something behind, or sacrificing something in order to have what you desire, right? So not sacrificing in like a dramatic way, but I think that there's definitely either a thinking pattern that they had to let go of, whether it's, a behavioral trait, or like a pattern that was very repetitive in this cycle. They're letting go of that, and they're coming forward with their truth. Four of Swords, Knight of Cups. This person feels like they owe you an apology, okay? Some of you, like I'm getting an energy of like this person actually wanting to come forward and find a solution because you haven't, like you have been very patient and you haven't been in like a forceful energy. It's almost like you detaching with the Empress energy and focusing on yourself, or refraining from trying to, push to work something out is causing this person to kind of come at you full throttle, right? Not in a negative way, but it's almost like when you detach, you attract, right? And I'm strongly getting that energy here where, like, I think this person knows that you feel connected to them, but they also feel like you've given up on a situation or you're not trying to figure something out with them as much as you used to in the past. And that's very visible to them. Eight of Cups, yeah. And what's the Seven of Cups? The Four of Pentacles. So this is someone who, again, they're reevaluating a decision. They could have made the decision to walk away or emotionally detach in the past, but the Four of Pentacles is giving me a strong energy of someone coming back around, kind of like with their tail between their legs, or there's some sort of a major loss that they feel. The Four of Pentacles could indicate like someone feeling like they were very selfish with their energy, and especially because it's clarifying the Seven of Cups. That's like, they feel like how they were operating was very selfish. So like giving to the connection when it was convenient for them, but also keeping their options open. This could even be someone who is receiving attention from, multiple different sources. And that's something that they definitely regret. The Star card. Some of you definitely could be dealing with an Aquarius, but they're coming back around in hopes that they could heal this connection with you, Taurus. Like, I'm strongly getting someone who knows they made the wrong decision, A. B, is viewing you as someone that they are actually content with. But I think that they know this is going to be difficult because of how they were operating with you in the past. It's almost like when you were connecting with this person, for example, if they were keeping their options open or only communicating with you when it was convenient for them or treating you like an option, now they feel like the ball is in your court. They may feel like, well, I want to come forward, but what if, Taurus no longer wants to invest? Because in the current moment, guys, they're viewing you as, I don't want to say they're viewing you as not caring at all about the situation, but they feel like you don't care to find a solution as much as you used to. Okay. So they're sensing this shift in your energy is what I see in their feelings. We have the Knight of Wands. So this is someone who feels the urgency to rush in, right? That's like thinking about something and saying, I'm going to act on that now. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of chemistry here. Just keep in mind with the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Wands, that could be someone who comes in hot and heavy, but it's not someone who's able to maintain that energy. There could be a little bit of inconsistency there. Eight of Cups, Five of Swords. So ever since this person walked away or ever since a separation, they've felt very, very conflicted. Five of Swords is like going back and forth in your mind about something, and it's usually something that you don't agree with. That's why it's conflicting. And I also feel like there could be a disagreement that this person is thinking about as well. Like if it was a disagreement or a harsh exchange of words between the both of you, I definitely feel like that's something that's coming to mind for them. Four of Pentacles, the Magician. They're hoping for the best. As they're coming in, they're hoping for the best. I think that this person is manifesting a specific outcome here. But I will say with the Knight of Wands, Five of Swords, and the Magician, they know that they weren't transparent with you in the past. They know that there were certain things that they were not opening up about. And they also know that they weren't treating you the way that, or the way that they were operating in the past. They feel like you were not deserving of that. When you were connecting with them, maybe they felt on top of the world, right? But this is also someone who is, again, keeping their options open or not making a firm decision about you, and that's something that they regret. So they know how they're not proud of how they were, operating in the past, but I also feel like in the now, there's this strong energy of wanting to come in and fix something with you because there's this, they're having this realization and there's a lot of regret here for the choices that they've made. Even if they felt like those choices were going to make them happy in the moment, in the now, they feel like it has backfired on them. Okay. So that is what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Gemini. Okay. Gemini, let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, guys, so we have the Six of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, and we have the Sun card. Some of you could be thinking of a Leo, potentially an Earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Seems to me that this is someone who's viewing you as like wish fulfillment. There's something about this connection that they feel like they were hoping for or wishing for. Like it's like it feels like a dream to them. It's a very positive energy that's coming through here. With the Six of Pentacles, I do see someone who is invested, but this could be a week where there's some sort of like, or there's conversation surrounding equal give and take, or wanting to come to some sort of a mutual agreement, possibly even wanting to meet on middle grounds here. Okay, how is this person feeling about Gemini? The Ace of Swords. This could be some sort of a breakthrough this week in this connection, or it could be someone speaking their truth as well. Some form of clarity that you're receiving from them. Okay, so we have the Devil. Some of you could be dealing with a Capricorn, and then we have the Emperor. Okay, there's a lot of obsessive thinking going on this week, Gemini. Like, I feel like this is someone who's thinking about you constantly, but they could be obsessing or, obsessing over an outcome, or there's some sort of an attachment to a specific vision that they have in mind. Okay, with the Emperor, this could be an authority figure. It could be someone who is in a position of power. It could also be read as like a father figure. But I do sense, Gemini, that you're connecting with someone who has some sort of an image to maintain, right? So even if they're not in the public eye, specifically, I think that this is someone who really cares about the way that others view them, okay? And there's something about their image that's coming through very strongly. Now, I'm also sensing like a very stern energy. So I do think that this is someone who's very certain about what it is that they want with you. But with the Devil being the first card in their feelings, like there may be something that they're trying to break free from. And that can also indicate like a karmic cycle, or just something that feels very karmic that's very difficult to detach from or let go of. We have the King of Swords, okay? They're viewing you as very honest, or there's something in particular that you communicated to them that came off very blunt. Okay. I don't see it as negative. I'm just getting more of an energy where it's like you were very truthful about something or very upfront, and maybe they weren't expecting that, but it has given them the clarity that they were seeking. And the Six of Cups. Okay. So this is someone that you have history with. And I feel like with the Six of Cups, like this is someone who's taking a trip down memory lane. They're definitely missing you this week, but there's something from the past that they're trying to detach from that feels very difficult to do so. It feels very repetitive, but it also feels very karmic. So it could even be like a pattern that occurs consistently in this connection. And they're trying to break free from it, but it feels like they're struggling with that. Okay, the Devil is being clarified by the Two of Swords. You may also have someone who's in a state of denial. Like there could be, for example, an issue or an obstacle that the both of you are facing, but they're downplaying it in their mind. Or there is an issue at hand, but they're picking and choosing what they want to focus on. That's why she's blindfolded in the Two of Swords, right? It's like picking and choosing what you want to, pay attention to. So again, it could be read as a state of denial. But what's interesting is the Two of Swords also touches on a very like this or that way of thinking, right? And so I did sense like an attachment to a specific outcome. So they feel like, okay, things between Gemini and I can only progress in this manner. And that could be creating a block. So having a hard time seeing, finding a new approach or seeing how things can be different could be creating a block for them. The Ace of Swords, yeah. I do think that this is someone who's being very open with you, but there's an energy of wanting something to go the way that they want it to go. And so that could be causing a disagreement, or maybe you have a different way of operating, or you have a different, like what you want from this connection differs from what they want from this connection, is the best way for me to boil down this energy, right? Even if the both of you want to be, let's just say, be in a connection, right? And be exclusive, there could be something in particular that this person wants that you do not agree with. This could even be like a very traditional individual with the Emperor. And like I said, I'm getting something strongly about their image. Maybe for some of you, you feel like this person is a very different individual to others in comparison to how they are with you. The King of Swords, Eight of Cups. Okay, so you could have chosen to walk away from this individual or this situation because things felt very repetitive, or there was something here where there's an obstacle, but you feel like, you guys weren't really working towards a solution. But the Eight of Cups is usually detaching from a situation because something that matters to you a lot in the emotional department is missing, right? So you were not satisfied. You felt a disconnect here. The King of Wands. Yeah, I see a very determined individual in terms of, coming forward and, speaking their truth. But the block that I see is an energy that wants something to occur in a specific way, an energy who is more focused on being heard as opposed to acknowledging the entirety of the situation. And with the Two of Swords, there are either some sort of illusions in the way, or the way this person views this connection is very different from how you view it, or it's very different from what's actually going on. The World card. This could be someone who's at a physical distance from you. So this could be a week where you guys are connecting, but speaking about or making some sort of travel plans. And if it's not someone who's at a physical distance from you, the World card could also indicate like online communication. Maybe that is where you guys communicate the most. And then we have the Queen of Swords. Okay. So this is someone who's receiving clarity about you after a separation. They do want to reconnect with you, but they're standing their ground on something, is what I'm sensing strongly. And, maybe there's something here that you're standing your ground on as well, because the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords, it's like when your head is above water. Yes, it could indicate two energies that have recently, gone through a separation, but the both of you know exactly what you want and what you do not want. But there may be certain things where you guys are not on the same page. Eight of Cups, Eight of Swords. Yeah, there's with the Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords, I also feel like this is someone who feels some like restricted mentally, whether it's something that they're thinking about constantly. I specifically feel like it's because they only have one outcome in mind, and that's what's causing them to feel restricted. They're like, it can only go one way, and I think it is limiting. It's placing limitations on what can change or what can be done differently. But again, despite that, I still see that they're determined to come forward here. King of Wands, Seven of Swords. Okay. What's the Seven of Swords? Some of you could be dealing with an Aquarius, Page of Pentacles. You may have someone here who is, reconnecting with you, reaching out, but you can sense that they're not being completely transparent, right? Seven of Swords clarifying, or the Page of Pentacles is clarifying the Seven of Swords, which is someone who is reaching out to you, sending you a message, etc. But I will say, Gemini, and I say this with transparency, I know it's not something all of you want to hear, but you are going to hear from this person, but they have a very specific plan in mind, and they are determined for things to work out that way. So if you disagree with what they have in mind, then, you may find that this person is a little difficult to work with and you're going to keep your distance. But for those of you that are wondering, am I going to hear from this person? Yes, but there's like a very firm, almost a little bit of a stubborn energy coming through here. Okay, so that's what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Cancer. Okay, Cancer. Let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, Cancer, so we have the Nine of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, and we have the Lovers. Some of you could be connecting with a Gemini or a Earth sign or an Earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Some of you may be on the cusp, okay? So you may have Gemini placements yourself, but with the Nine of Pentacles and the Lovers, I see like a union happening, or like some form of divine intervention, like two energies being brought together for a reason. Or, you're connecting with someone this week and you feel like you guys have crossed paths for a reason. There's something here that feels very familiar. I think that this is someone who is viewing you as a soulmate with the Lover's card. A Nine of Pentacles, I mean, they're also viewing you as someone who's very stable, very independent, very, successful here. So how is this person feeling about Cancer? The Four of Swords, okay, and the Hierophant. Some of you could be dealing with the Taurus. Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm just looking at the image. This is a new deck, at least for me. So with the Four of Swords, guys, I strongly feel like this is someone who has been thinking about you, but it could be someone who's kind of like a lone wolf, or they spend a lot of time on their own. I could be just, it could be, sorry, specifically this week where they're in a period of solitude. So maybe there's the communication between the both of you is not as consistent. But I feel like this is someone who's ready for some sort of elevation in this connection, whether the next steps be being spending more time together, whether it's becoming exclusive, whether it's wanting a higher level of commitment. They're ready for the next step, or some form of elevation is how it's coming through here. Okay. There could be some sort of differences in this connection, specifically cultural or religious. Okay. But I feel like this is someone who's wanting a breakthrough in this situation. Like they feel connected to you, but they're not happy with how this connection is progressing in the 3D. So they want to create something more with you, or build something that feels more stable. Three of Cups. Three of Cups is a very social card, so it could be that this person is, wanting to spend quality time with you, or they're inviting you to some sort of a social gathering, but they're viewing you as someone that they have a lot of fun with. They look forward to the conversations that you guys have. They feel like the bond between the both of you is very, it's easygoing. It kind of just flows. Nothing feels forced between the both of you. But I do think that this is a week where they're either breaking the silence, or if you guys are speaking but the conversations have been more surface level, it's like wanting to just be in your company, wanting to take you out, wanting to just spend more quality time with you is what's going on in their feelings. The Strength card. Yeah. It seems to me, Cancer, that you have access to a very different side of this individual, because with the Strength card, I do believe it's someone who feels very deeply towards you, but they're not very open about their emotions, whether it's because they view that as a sign of weakness, whether it's they kind of, one moment, guys, there's a pigeon on my window. Okay, guys, sorry about all that noise. There was a pigeon by my window, but I feel like this is someone who is very like, yes, it could be difficult to read, but I also feel, Cancer, like this is someone who just may view like showing their emotions as a sign of weakness, or they're not very open when it comes to that department. But I do feel like they want to show you that they care, but I don't see someone who's coming in with like, an emotional outpour. The Four of Swords is being clarified by the Three of Pentacles. Okay. I think this person wants to make sure that you guys are on the same page. If there has been any sort of disagreements, the Three of Pentacles could indicate like working something out, or coming to a mutual agreement, even if it requires some sort of compromise. The Hierophant, the Magician. Yeah. I think this is someone who wants a higher level of commitment, but they want to work towards that. They want to feel closer to you. They want to get to know you on a deeper level, and this is what they're manifesting. I also feel like this week they're feeling very confident, or feeling a lot more courageous about taking the next steps towards you. So if they were withdrawn, or if they were, overthinking or overanalyzing, this week I see them being a lot more action oriented, instead of just thinking about a situation or thinking about what they want to do here. I also feel like you and this person may share similar ideas when it comes to, something pertaining to career, like financial goals, that sort of thing. Three of Cups, Queen of Cups. Yeah. I feel like you're going to be spending a lot more time with this person. And the Queen of Cups is someone who views you as extremely nurturing. There may be something about your energy where they're reminded of like a parental figure, but it's not in an odd way. It's in a way where it's like very, like they feel like your energy is very comforting, or they can confide in you about a lot without fearing any sense of judgment here. Okay. The Strength card, the Three of Swords. Yeah, I think that this person is working through wounds from the past. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's, some sort of hurt that was caused in this connection. It could also just be in their personal environment. But Four of Swords and the Three of Swords is some sort of healing taking place for this individual. It could even be, if they experienced a very, not the best, or, experiences in relationships in the past. It could be that they're healing from that so they don't, project anything onto the connection with you. Page of Pentacles. Yeah. You're receiving an offer from this person, and the Page of Pentacles is usually something that is small, but it has the potential to become something larger. The Magician, the Hermit. Yeah. And what's interesting, guys, is throughout this spread, I was getting someone who like keeps to themselves. Oh my goodness, can I speak today? Keeps to themselves, or they spend a lot of time on their own, but they're coming forward and they actually want to spend time with you. They actually want to be in your company. Like this could be someone who genuinely likes to be in a period of solitude, right? They like to spend time on their own. They like to, do hobbies on their own, but they feel very connected to you, where they want to include you in the things that they like to do. Some of you could be dealing with the Virgo. We have the Ten of Swords, and what's the Three of Swords? The Death card. Let's clarify the Death card. Some of you could be dealing with the Scorpio, King of Cups. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So there definitely has been, a period of separation. Ten of Swords could even indicate someone who feels like they betrayed you in one way or another, or there's something here that they've done where you feel disrespected by it. But the Death card, this ending has caused almost like an awakening for this person. And I see someone who's coming back around. They feel like they understand you on an emotional level, and they want to be there for you. But the one thing that I do see here, Cancer, is someone who struggles with articulating their emotions, or someone who is not really vocal about their emotions, but they will show you that they care in other ways. And just because they are not vocal about their emotions, it doesn't take away from how deeply they feel towards you with the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. They do understand you on an emotional level, but they feel like they don't operate the same way that you do when it comes to showing emotion. So again, there could be a difference in love languages as well. So that is what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Leo. Okay, Leo, let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, guys, so some of you could be thinking of a Pisces. We have the Hanged Man, and then we also have the Knight of Pentacles. You do have someone here who is thinking about you heavily, but I think that they're in like a very, like this seems like a very stagnant energy, okay? Or something like there's some form of delays when it comes to this connection with the Hanged Man and the Knight of Pentacles. Like maybe you're thinking about this person, but the reason you're thinking about them is you feel like it's taking a while to get something off the ground here. Or it's someone that you can sense them tugging on your energy, but you don't really feel like they're being action-oriented. Okay. How is this person feeling about Leo? The Ten of Pentacles. They definitely have commitment on their mind, but there's some sort of delays, or there's like a bit of stalling going on this week. Okay. So we have the Nine of Swords followed by the Page of Wands. So this is someone who is overthinking their communication towards you is what I'm seeing, because the pages in the deck, they're usually like considered messengers. And so the Page of Wands is someone who does want to speak to you. They feel very like this could even be some sort of like passionate communication as well. But for the Nine of Swords to be the first card in their feelings, they're overthinking what they're planning to tell you, or they're over analyzing how you may receive what they want to say, how you're going to respond. You know, if I say this, what will Leo say? Or will this be good enough? Like there's a lot of, again, overthinking going on. And I think this person is very nervous when it comes to reaching out to you as well. We have the Nine of Wands. You could have set very clear boundaries with this person, or they're viewing you to have some sort of a guard up. And yes, they're wanting to fight for this connection, or they're wanting access to you again, but they're stressed out about your response or how you're viewing them. And, you know, Nine of Swords could also be someone like when you're like an energy of overthinking where you're talking yourself out of doing something, even if you desire it. The Six of Pentacles. Not only does this person want to invest in the situation with you, they're hoping that you guys can meet on middle grounds. So if you do have a guard up, or if you've set very clear boundaries with this person, they're hoping that you allow space for them to open up, to mend something with you. Six of Pentacles could also be that, you know, giving to more than one situation. So there could be some form of neglect that occurred in this connection that is being highlighted for this individual as well. The Six of Cups clarifying the Nine of Swords. So you have someone here, Leo, where it's like a strong energy of this is what I want with Leo. Taking a trip down memory lane, but overthinking communication because they want things to feel how they have felt in the past. It's like quite literally wanting to return to the past. And there's something in the now that has shifted in this dynamic. So it's a strong energy of I want to reach out to Leo, but I hope that we can go back to how we used to be. And so even if there's an energetic shift that this person has sensed between the both of you, that could be something that's bothering them as well. If you are operating differently, or you don't speak to them the same way that you used to, or the communication is, you know, inconsistent, those are factors that could be, you know, bothering them as well. The Knight of Wands. So this person feels an urgency to rush in and speak to you. I strongly feel like they either feel like they're running out of time, or a lot of time has passed where they feel if they don't act, you know, on their feelings in the now, then it's going to be a missed opportunity. And I certainly feel like it's someone who has taken a while to come forward, or to even create a plan, honestly, because with the Hanged Man as well as a Knight of Pentacles, again, that's like a very slow moving energy, or a situation that has felt stuck for quite some time. Six of Swords, wanting to move to calmer waters, wanting to make peace with you. For some of you, this person could actually be at a physical distance. Okay, so they may need to like, you know, relocate, or they are, you know, like visiting you if they don't, you know, live in the same city as you, or the same, you know, state or province. 10 of Cups, clarifying the Six of Pentacles. They want to work towards a commitment here. And there's something about, like, specifically this week when they're thinking about you, feeling very nostalgic about the bond that you guys shared in the past. And they're wanting to mend something with you, but they also want the both of you to go back to a space where the comfort level feels how it has in the past. So you have someone here who has a strong attachment to how the both of you were with each other, and that's what they want to return to. Some of you could be dealing with the water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Eight of Wands. Yeah. So you're definitely receiving communication from this person despite the overthinking and despite the anxious energy. And I feel like it could even be communication or something in particular that you manifested, because the Eight of Wands is also a card of manifestation. But they're wanting to restore balance in this connection. There may have been something that kind of stripped the innocence from this connection, and they're wanting to restore that. Seven of Wands. Yeah, with the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Wands, I strongly feel like this is someone who knows that you're on the fence, or there's something about the situation that you don't trust entirely, or it could even be an energy of feeling like you're not going to allow them to, allow them space in your life right away, or there's an energy of knowing that they have to prove themselves prior to winning you over or having you connect with them the way that they want you to. But they are hoping you let your guard down. Ace of Swords. Yeah. Ace of Swords is someone speaking their truth. So you're definitely going to be receiving clarity about where they stand, what they want moving forward. But I do see a little bit of fear of, or a little bit of like a doubtful energy when it comes to, is this going to work out the way that I want it to? Ten of Cups, Queen of Pentacles. Yeah. I think this person is, you know, very firm on their decision when it comes to investing in a connection with you. I just think that there's more of a concern about how you're going to receive their communication here. Yes, there's a lot of worry and stress, but I don't think it's outweighing their desire to reconnect with you. And again, a strong attachment to the past or how things used to be between the both of you. Okay? So that is what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Virgo. Okay, Virgo, let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, so we have the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck, and we have the Two of Cups. First and foremost, I see someone who is very attracted to you, okay? And the Two of Cups could indicate like two very different energies coming together. So it could quite literally just be the way that you guys operate, the way that maybe there's something very different pertaining to your lifestyle in comparison to theirs, or it could quite literally be like cultural or religious factors, okay? So I do see someone who's highly attracted to you, feeling connected to you, very, there's like this magnetic pull that they feel. But it seems to me that this week they're either in their own way or there's like some sort of mental restrictions that they feel. Let's see. Okay, how is this person feeling about Virgo? The Knight of Cups, okay, and the Six of Swords. There's something here that this person is confessing to you this week that is going to cause you to feel a lot closer to them. A lot more closer than you currently do. And I feel like with the Knight of Cups, this is like an emotional confession. It could also be just someone who's being very vulnerable. So there may be something that they're actually like confiding in you about, whether it's like a personal experience, whether it's something from their childhood or their past, but they're opening up to you, and it's resulting in the both of you feeling very close to each other. And the Six of Swords is an energy of someone who is wanting to, yes, feel closer to you, but there could even be an energy of like wanting to make peace with what doesn't make sense, or wanting to clear up some sort of confusion here. So, like, for example, if this is someone where you're like, yes, I know they're taking a liking towards me, but there really hasn't been a confession or a conversation, I do see you, receiving the clarity that you're seeking, or you're going to know exactly where you stand with this person. The Hierophant. Wow. Some of you could be dealing with the Taurus. We also have the King of Wands. Yeah, there's a lot of attraction and chemistry between the both of you. This is someone who's not only attracted to you on a physical level, they feel like you guys have similar goals, or you're working towards similar, like you have a similar plan in mind. Because what I see is someone who wants to build with you and build a very stable foundation at that, ready for the next step or some form of elevation here. And yes, I do see that the differences between the both of you are being highlighted for them, but you have a very grounding energy, Virgo. And I think that if this is someone who, is the opposite of you, or they're a little bit fiery, or, type A, like there's something about your energy feeling very, like grounding is the word that I'm receiving here. And they're attracted to you on a physical level, yes, but also the way that you carry yourself. Also the fact that they see a future and see a very stable future with you at that. Page of Wands. Very excited to communicate with you. I think that this is someone who like can't get enough of you. So when you guys are conversing, it could be very mentally stimulating for them, but it's also someone who looks forward to spending time with you, being in your company. So you know, there's genuinely a lot of excitement here. And even if this is, you know, like if you're newly connecting with this person, there's something about your energy that also feels very familiar to them. Hence why they're able to confide in you about something that is very, puts them in a very vulnerable state. The devil could be obsessive thinking as well, guys. Some of you could be dealing with a Capricorn, but the devil could be when like you can't get someone off your mind, or you're thinking about a situation, or you're you know, attached to a specific outcome. Okay, but I will say with the devil clarifying the Six of Swords, that could also be someone who has recently moved away from something that felt very karmic. Okay, so they could have completed a very tough cycle. There could have been, you know, a cycle that felt very repetitive for them. And they're like, I'm finally, you know, through with this and I'm moving on to something new here. What's the Hierophant? The Justice card. Wow. You're connecting with someone who has marriage on their mind. This could be a very traditional individual, but if it's not about them being traditional, it's just someone who has marriage on their mind. It's not, you know, coming in and connecting with you on a casual level. I mean, they are getting to know you and they are taking their time here. I don't see someone rushing into a commitment, but they're going to make it very clear that that is what they're working towards. And they're not, you know, wanting to create something that's just temporarily stable. So they're definitely viewing you as marriage material as well. Ace of Swords, yeah. You're going to know exactly where you stand with this person this week. Ace of Swords is someone speaking their truth. It's also a breakthrough in a situation. If you had any questions, if you weren't sure, if you guys were on the same page, I think all of that is going to be cleared up. Page of Wands, Eight of Cups. What's the devil? The Seven of Wands, okay. You may be connecting with someone who somewhat has some sort of like trust issues because of their past, but Eight of Cups is letting me know that this is not something that they're going to project onto the connection with you. This is someone who is emotionally detached from anything that no longer serves them, right? No longer makes them feel fulfilled. But if it's still coming up in their energy, it means they do have a little bit of a guard up, or they take their time with opening up and trusting here. The Seven of Wands, I also feel like, is giving me an energy of someone who's very protective of this connection with you. So I don't think that they're going to anyone else for advice. Instead, I think they're trying to figure things out on their own and pursue a connection with you, and not really wanting to publicize anything until they are very certain. Justice card, Four of Pentacles. The Ace of Swords, the Hanged Man. Okay, this is very specific, guys. Some of you could be dealing with a Pisces, but yes, the download that's coming through is very specific. Only take it if it resonates. But some of you could be connecting with someone who has recently gone through like a divorce or a very large ending in their life, like something or a situation that they were connected to for, you know, quite a while has come to an end, and you are newly, like they are connecting with you, so it's a new energy. But there's I think they could be confiding in you about something that they had to walk away from. And the reason I say it could even be like a separation or a divorce is we have the Justice card as well as the Four of Pentacles. And that could be someone who's going through some form of legal matters where they feel like they're starting from scratch or they're starting from zero. Okay. So that is what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Libra. Okay. Libra, let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, guys, so we have the Tower on the bottom of the deck. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio, and we have the Four of Pentacles. First and foremost, Libra, I think the person you're thinking about, there has been a sudden change in this dynamic with the Tower. And with the Four of Pentacles, I feel like if it's someone, even if it's someone who's withdrawn from you, they feel like a major loss. Like Whether it's like feeling like they no longer have access to you, or this could be someone that, like a disconnect here, or a sudden change has impacted other areas of their life, possibly even impacted them financially. But I see some sort of a sudden change that a person is trying to process here. Okay, how is this person feeling about Libra? We have the Ten of Pentacles, followed by the Eight of Swords. It's definitely someone with commitment on their mind, right? Ten of Pentacles indicates like a higher level of commitment, building something, such as like a stable foundation, seeing a future with you. But we have the Eight of Swords, so I wonder if this is a case of self-sabotage or someone who's in their own way this week. Like Eight of Swords could be when you're feeling restricted mentally, right? Or you're feeding into certain thoughts where you are talking yourself out of acting on your emotions or what you're planning or thinking of doing here. But there's some sort of restrictions that they feel when it comes to having a commitment with you. They are thinking about the commitment, they are wanting to create something very stable with you. But there are certain thoughts here that may be getting in the way of that. Let's see. The Lovers, some of you could be connecting with a Gemini. They're viewing you as a soulmate. They're viewing you as someone that they are not only feeling very connected to, but you understand them on an emotional level. You may have a way of understanding this person without them even having to be, vocal, or without them having to quite literally tell you how they're feeling. It's like this unspoken understanding between the both of you. And there's a lot of attraction here. Page of Pentacles. Okay, I do see them offering you something, but intuitively I'm picking up on someone who feels like they're not giving enough to this connection. And it's because they feel like they can't in the current moment. There's something that's creating a block for them, either mentally or a restriction in their environment. And don't get me wrong, the Page of Pentacles, it is a small offer, but it has the potential to turn into something much more or much larger. And I do think they want something more with you, but this could be a week where they're just taking the, initial steps towards you, or they're offering you something, but it's almost like they feel they're not doing enough or giving enough in this connection. I'm picking up on that persistently. Ten of Pentacles, Two of Wands. They definitely see a future with you, and Two of Wands could be a card of planning like your first steps towards something, right? So I think that if this person has been silent with you, they're planning on how to communicate. If you have been speaking to this person, but it's been very surface level, they're like, how do I take that first step to show Libra that I want something more, that I want something stable with them? And there's a genuine curiosity when, like a very, yes, like a curious energy when it comes to what you guys could build together. They see a lot of potential with you with that Two of Wands. Eight of Swords, Three of Cups. They want to spend more time with you. So this could be a week where, they're taking you out. Maybe it could be, because the Three of Cups is a very social card, right? So it could even be inviting you to a social gathering. Maybe they want you to meet their family or friends. Okay. And the Three of Cups, clarifying the Eight of Swords, could also be like some sort of an interference that they feel restricted by, where it's like, I can offer Libra, A, B, and C, but the other things have to wait, or I have to come out of a situation or let go of something to fully be able to invest here. What's the Lovers? The Eight of Wands. A lot of back and forth communication between the both of you. I also think there's something here in particular that they're manifesting, and it could be removing like a block or something that's in the way of pursuing a stable connection with you. This is someone who's going to be very open about their communication. Eight of Wands and the Lovers could also be like a lot of chemistry, a lot of flirting, someone who's very charming, someone who is like, you feel very loved, you feel very content with this communication. Page of Pentacles, Six of Swords. It seems to me that they want to feel closer to you, but they're trying to make peace with the situation of their past, or they're trying to tie up loose ends without causing havoc. What's the Two of Wands? The Six of Wands. Yeah. This person's going to be showering you with a lot of attention this week. You know, and the Six of Wands is someone, you know, they could be in the public eye, but I'm strongly getting like wanting you to focus on them, wanting a successful outcome between the both of you. But there may be a bit of strategy here or something that they're working through on their own. It's like in order to move closer to you, Libra, they have to move further from something else. The King of Swords. So this could be quite literally needing to cut ties elsewhere, okay? I also feel like you're being very truthful with this person this week. It could be a bit unexpected, but you're making your intentions very clear here. Or if there's something that you're tired of or not willing to tolerate, I think you're going to be communicating that. Eight of Wands, Five of Cups. This person may feel like they disappointed you in the past here. This could also be an energy of someone who feels like they were dwelling in a situation that was not serving them for quite some time and they're ready to move forward. Six of Swords, the Star card, yeah. So what I see here, Libra, is like a conversation that feels very healing for the both of you. But even though you're receiving an offer from this person, what's not visible to you is they want more with you, but they feel like they can't do that in the current moment. There's something they need to move away from, or they feel like they're not in a position to fully work towards a higher level of commitment because of a restriction. So they are speaking to you. There's a lot of back and forth communication. It's going to be very clear to you how this person feels towards you. It's going to be something that you can't ignore. But I think that on the practical side of things, they're not able to give to this connection fully, at least not in the current energy. Okay? So that is what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, guys, so we have the Two of Swords on the bottom of the deck, and we have the Ten of Cups. Okay. I see someone who feels very connected to you. Okay, this could even be someone that, you know, is wanting to be in a connection with you, yes. But with the Two of Swords, I feel like they're either in denial about something, okay, or there are some form of illusions that they're having a hard time seeing past this week. They do feel connected to you, but there's like a lack of clarity in this situation. Okay, how is this person feeling about Scorpio? Okay, guys, so we have the Page of Pentacles, okay, followed by the Death card. Okay, so there's some sort of communication that has taken place between you and this individual, but it caused a sudden change, possibly even a very abrupt ending. So whether it's something that you communicated, okay, and, you know, it caused an ending here, maybe it was mutual, but what I'm seeing with the Page of Pentacles and the Death card is like some form, like a message or a phone call, just some form of communication that caused a sudden change between the both of you, and that is what they're focused on. This could even be something that happened very recently because it seems to me that it's very fresh on their mind. This could also indicate someone who wants to reach out to you after, you know, an ending. They're thinking about what to say. There's a lack of clarity in the situation is specifically what I'm getting. Someone who doesn't know how to feel or what to think, the Magician. So they're manifesting a specific outcome here. I feel like they want to reconnect with you, but they're very confused. Like this could be someone who's trying to figure out how you feel or where you stand, or because of some form of communication, they're like, okay, I have a lot of questions, or there's a lot that's up in the air in the current moment. The King of Wands, a lot of attraction, a lot of passion between the both of you. Some of you could be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And I think they're very determined to speak to you. But they're also, I think their main concern here is clearing up some form of confusion, wanting clarity on where you stand, possibly even wanting to revisit a conversation of the past because they have questions about it. Something doesn't make sense to them is what's coming up persistently. Page of Wands, yeah. So I definitely feel like there's going to be communication. You're going to be receiving communication from this person. We have 2 pages here. And they are looking forward to interacting with you. And even if they initially come in in a very like lighthearted way, it is going to be a conversation that leads to more or something deeper, because sometimes the Page of Wands could be like more of like a lighthearted approach or someone who's coming in to test the waters with you. But I don't see that it's going to remain that way. It's not going to remain as a surface level conversation. The Nine of Pentacles. This person could also feel like you've chosen to focus on yourself, right? Whether it's you've shifted your focus to yourself or your finances, they feel like you're not as invested as you once were. But you choosing to focus on yourself could have felt very abrupt for this person, even if it did not feel that way for you, right? The Judgment. Yeah. And I think this is someone who's having a hard time not only accepting a sudden change, it seems very large or drastic. Like, for example, if you have, been spending a lot of time with this person, or you guys have a lot of history together, they did not expect things to end the way that they have. And the Judgment is like someone who feels ready for a change, but I strongly feel like with the Death card as well as the Judgment, they're having a hard time accepting the reality of a situation. Something did not progress the way that they thought it would. And even if they feel like the change was much needed, it still feels a bit difficult for them to fathom on like an emotional level. King of Wands, the Hermit. Some of you could be dealing with a Virgo. I think they're going through a very introspective period. There's a lot that they're realizing about themselves, or there's a lot that they're realizing in terms of the role that they played, in this ending, or what led to an ending. But I also feel with the Hermit, like, yes, this is someone who feels like they're going through a very dark period, but they're learning a lot about you. The lantern that the Hermit is holding in that card is symbolic for some sort of clarity or knowledge that you're gaining during a period of darkness. The World card. Yeah. For some of you, this communication is taking place online. The World card could indicate, online communication, but it could also touch on someone who's at like a physical distance from you. Okay. But I do see them reaching out to you and speaking to you. But they're having a very hard time processing a sudden change or a sudden decision that was made. The Strength card. Some of you could be dealing with a Leo. They're viewing you as someone who's withdrawn or not in a space where you want to be open with them emotionally. Right? So even if they're conversing with you, they feel like you're not really opening up, or maybe it's kind of like one-word responses, or they feel like you're not as intrigued or involved in the conversation, the way that you have been in the past. The Fool card, yeah, definitely ready for a new beginning. What's the Hermit? The Page of Swords. So they feel like they've spent a lot of time keeping tabs on you since it's ending, or watching you from afar. But I feel like their curiosity is what's bringing them forward, or that is what is, it's almost like that is why they want to reconnect with you or communicate with you. Again, I do think that this is someone who's coming in a very lighthearted way, but it's not going to remain that way. There's a lot of clarity that they're seeking. There's a lot of confusion that they want to clear up. But I think that they're viewing you as someone who's in a space where you're choosing yourself, or you're not as invested in this connection as you once were, or so that's how they feel. Okay. So that's what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Sagittarius. Okay. Sagittarius, let's see. A person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups on the bottom of the deck, and we have the Hermit. Some of you could be dealing with a Virgo, potentially a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Seems to me that there's like an incoming apology, with the Knight of Cups and the Hermit. It's like you have someone here who's going through an introspective period, but what they're realizing is some form of like feeling like they mishandled the situation, but it's resulting in them feeling like, okay, I owe Sagittarius an apology, or I want to open up emotionally and tell them how I actually feel. And it's because of what they're, it's like taking a trip down memory lane or analyzing a situation and realizing maybe certain things that they, that were not visible to them in the past. Okay. How is this person feeling about Sagittarius? Okay, so we have the Four of Swords followed by the Seven of Cups. Four of Swords and the Seven of Cups, it's a very confused energy. Like you have someone here who may, again, feel like they owe you an apology. There is some form of healing taking place for them. But Seven of Cups is like feeling like there are a lot of mixed signals, or there's something that they're trying to make sense of, but it doesn't make sense to them, right? There's a lot of unanswered questions here. I think this person is trying to also figure out where you stand, but, it's only resulting in them feeling more confused because they're trying to figure this out on their own. Four of Swords and Seven of Cups could also indicate like a long period of silence that results in confusion, like someone who's genuinely confused about where you stand because they haven't spoke to you in X amount of time. So they don't know what has changed, in terms of your feelings or your situation or your circumstances. Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio. Ace of Wands. Definitely desiring a new beginning here. And I feel like the Ace of Wands, with the Ace of Wands energy, this is also someone where like they're very excited to reconnect with you. But I think there's a worry of where do we stand now? Or I haven't spoke to you. I haven't spoke to Sagittarius in such a long time. What are they going to say? How are they going to respond? Are they going to respond at all? Like these are the thoughts that are crossing their mind. But despite that, I do see a desire for a new beginning, but I also see a desire for clarity. The Lovers, some of you could be dealing with a Gemini. Sagittarius, I'm strongly getting that this is someone who's viewing you as a soulmate, but they feel like there's a lot of unexplored potential. So, there is a past here, but it could be that they feel while they were connecting with you in the past, things ended very quickly between the both of you, or something occurred abruptly where they're like, okay, well, we didn't really get to explore the potential of this connection. And they are still very fixated on you. I see that clearly, but it's like wanting to actually get something off the ground this time around. So I wonder if the both of you were conversing and maybe spending time together, but it didn't really turn into, a commitment or a connection. And that's something that they want to explore now. Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords and Seven of Cups could be, someone who is keeping like their options open, or there is a lack of transparency in the past. But I feel like they genuinely feel like they owe you an apology, or there's something that they want to take accountability for. And they're realizing this because they're healing something within them, or they're healing from something, that was causing them to, operate in a particular manner. Like if this was someone who was very hurt by something and they were, being very, malicious, or they were seeking revenge, or they were, it could be various things. But what I'm getting at is someone who has healed an aspect of them where they feel like they owe you an apology and they want another chance in this connection. Some of you could be dealing with an Aquarius. We have the Ten of Wands. They're carrying this very heavy energy. It's like a burdensome energy of what if, what could have happened if things proceeded, or progressed in this manner instead of, how they actually transpired. There's a lot of questions, but I think that this person feels like it would feel more difficult to walk away from a situation without receiving another chance, or at least trying to work something out with you. That would, walking away without exploring the potential would feel more difficult than just, closing out a cycle or letting it go. Like they're still thinking about you. They're still thinking about what you guys could work towards. And it is a heavy energy because it's like when they think about the situation with you, they feel very confused. And they're like, I'm not able to move forward until I receive the clarity, until I know that I've done everything I possibly can to explore this connection. Six of Pentacles, the Lovers, the High Priestess. Wow. This could have been a very discreet connection as well. You know, the High Priestess is clarifying the Lover. So whether it's there was a lot of secrecy in this connection, or the connection was a secret as a whole, like where it wasn't being publicized, or maybe there was a bit of a sneaky energy, someone who was connecting with you, but they were keeping it away from maybe another party or another energy. But Six of Pentacles is investing in this connection with you, but hoping that you guys are able to meet on middle grounds. For some of you, the reason why a connection wasn't able to get off the ground is there's some sort of dishonesty, or there's something that was going on in their life that they were not transparent about. Seven of Swords, the Chariot. Some of you could be dealing with a Cancer. What's a Ten of Wands? Queen of Wands. I think that when an ending occurred, or walking away from the situation, this person could have appeared very nonchalant, especially, you know, with that Queen of Wands and the Chariot energy, like moving away, or, you know, detaching and not really giving you a thorough explanation. But they're definitely regretting their decisions of the past. And they're very focused on you, because Chariot is all about direction and focus. And so they've made a firm decision that they want to come towards you and they want to figure something out. But I do think that, you know, they've betrayed your trust in the past, or that is something that's going to resurface for you while they're, you know, reconnecting with you. Eight of Cups. What's the High Priestess? The Page of Wands. Yep. So someone who walked away, okay, or feels like they did not try to actually make a connection work with you, is returning. It's also someone who has been silent with you for quite some time here. And they feel like there's unexplored potential. They feel like they got off on the wrong foot, or they were not transparent, but they have continued to think about you and think about what ifs. There's a lot of what ifs, or like what could have been. Okay. So that's what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Capricorn. Okay. Capricorn, let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, so we have the Five of Wands on the bottom of the deck, and we have the Hanged Man. Some of you could be thinking of a Pisces or a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Someone is afraid to break the silence because they're avoiding some sort of conflict, Capricorn. Like there's something here where there's discomfort with speaking about it or addressing an issue. So they're avoiding it. But that's why there's like, it's like they're avoiding breaking the silence because they're avoiding conflict, is the best way for me to explain the energy that's coming through. Okay, let's see. This could also be someone who feels restricted by, you know, an external influence, something that's causing them to feel like very defeated. How is this person feeling about Capricorn? Yeah, I'm getting like a very avoidant kind of energy coming through here. Let's see. The Knight of Cups, okay? And the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so here's what I'm seeing, Capricorn. I strongly feel like this is someone that you're currently in some form of like a disagreement with, okay? And what I see is that they do want to work something out with you. They may even feel like they owe you an apology with the Knight of Cups. And the Three of Pentacles, you know, that's like wanting to negotiate or discuss something so that you guys can come to a mutual agreement. But I see a fear of a conversation escalating into a conflict. I also see a fear of like discussing, or I should say addressing an issue. Like there's like a very, yes, I want to work something out. Yes, I want to come to a mutual agreement, but here's what I don't want to speak about, or here's what I want to sweep under the rug. There's something of the past that they're not proud of, but they feel like if they were to speak to you, that is something that would be brought up in conversation. Okay, so we have the Devil there. And then we have the Queen of Wands. They're thinking about you very heavily, but I will say they're attached to a specific outcome. They have a specific plan in mind. The other thing that I will say, guys, like there's something that feels very tempting about this situation. Like the Devil and the Queen of Wands could be, someone who is very attracted to you, someone who feels like there's a lot of passion and chemistry, but there's something that feels almost forbidden when it comes to this connection here. Okay. And the Devil could also just indicate like, an unhealthy pattern or something that feels very karmic. Like this is someone who's like, I want to reconnect with Capricorn. I do want to speak to them, but here's what I don't want to address. Here's what I don't want to, take accountability for. Like there's like again, a very avoidant energy. Now, I do think they're acknowledging their emotions towards you. It's not just, physical attraction or just chemistry. There are emotions with the Knight of Cups, but they feel like there's something here that the both of you are just like struggling to let go of. Okay. So I'll give you an example, Capricorn. Like maybe there was like a disagreement that you guys had, or there was something that was done in this connection that you are not fond of. And even if there was an apology for that very thing, they feel when you guys, interact with each other and everything's great. But then when there's like a minor inconvenience, that very situation or event is brought up. And so in the now, they're like, I want to reconnect with Capricorn, but I'm not ready to talk about that very thing, or I don't want to discuss that. I want to leave that in the past. Right. So if you're on the same page and you don't want to discuss, the past, then of course this would be, your desired outcome. But if you are still wanting to address something that is weighing heavily on your mind, then it may be frustrating because you are dealing with a pretty avoidant energy. Knight of Cups, Four of Swords. So a lot of healing taking place, someone who feels like they've had enough time to think about the situation on their own, wanting to act on their feelings. Five of Swords, yeah. I'm persistently getting guys like they are avoiding conflict at all costs. This could even be someone who avoids confrontation. Like when you're upset, maybe they are someone who refrains from asking you why you're upset or refrains from discussing it. Instead, they completely avoid you, or it's like silent treatment. Because yes, they're avoiding conflict, but I also see someone who doesn't want to confront an issue that is clearly present here. What's the Devil? The Six of Wands. Someone here could be in the public eye, or the amount of attention that someone receives could have impacted this connection in a negative way, right? So it's not about, how much attention a person receives. It's more so about what they do with that attention. And because the Six of Wands is clarifying the Devil, there could have been, issues in that area for some of you. But it's almost like coming in with an energy of, I want a successful outcome. I want a breakthrough in the situation. But I want to also avoid conflict at all costs. Queen of Wands, Four of Cups. They're not happy with the current dynamic. They definitely feel a disconnect here. They know that when you think about the situation, you feel let down and you feel disappointed. They're actually uncertain, even when it comes to you accepting their offer or accepting some sort of a peace offering here with the Three of Pentacles. Like Four of Cups could be, a lack of interest, or you becoming very impatient with the situation where your feelings have changed or your perspective has altered. Four of Swords, Seven of Cups. They don't really know what the future holds. There is a lot of confusion here, but I don't think that's going to stop them from coming forward. What's the Five of Swords? The Five of Cups. Wow. I also think a reason why this person doesn't want to discuss obstacles of the past is because there's a lot of guilt and embarrassment associated with that as well. And they feel like the more they speak about it, the more they feel disappointed in themselves or their actions. Temperance. Yeah. Six of Wands and Temperance. I mean, some of you could be dealing with the Sagittarius, but that's someone who's coming in to restore balance, make peace with you or the situation. If that is what you're looking for, then, that's great. But for those of you that really want to get to the bottom of an issue, you might find this to be a little bit frustrating. And I say that with transparency. Page of Wands, yeah. So I do see them communicating with you, but they don't want to bring up the past. And the second thing here is they're avoiding conflict at all costs. There's genuinely a fear of a conversation escalating into like an argument or a misunderstanding. Okay. So that is what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, some of you could be thinking of a Pisces with the moon card, and then we have the sun card. Wow. Or a Leo. The moon and the sun. Someone is viewing you as like their divine counterpart, like their other half. There may be some sort of a void that you fill, when it comes to like the emotional department here specifically. Yeah, this person feels like you see them for who they are, yes, but you understand them on a like a very deep level, like a very deep emotional level. But they may also feel like there are like a lot of lessons in this connection. When I see the moon and the sun, right? For me, sometimes it could, as a reader, it could indicate like a twin flame connection or a connection where, again, there are a lot of lessons where two energies have to go through something individually prior to coming together. Okay, that's for some of you. Let's see. How is this person feeling about Aquarius? It could also indicate two very different energies coming together. So there could be, the differences in this connection could be highlighted for this person this week. Okay, so we have the Ten of Swords followed by the Five of Cups. Okay. There's an ending that's weighing very heavily on this person's mind. Like this is someone who feels very disappointed in their actions, or they feel like they let you down emotionally. Like they made a plan or they made promises to you that they weren't able to follow through on. There was more speaking than doing, or planning, as opposed to actually executing those plans. And the Five of Cups is someone who's missing you, but there's a lot of dwelling going on. Like there's a like a shoulda, woulda, coulda energy. And really, initially, what I was getting here is someone who feels like they let you down, like in a severe way, and they're really impacted by that. And the Ten of Swords, it does indicate like an ending or like a betrayal, but I feel like this is someone who's thinking about how to reverse the effects of that, or how to like almost like how do I come back from that? And I think that this is someone who is feeling very nostalgic, spending a lot of time on their own, and this could be a week where their emotions feel extremely heavy for them to, cope with. King of Cups. They want to speak to you or open up emotionally, but there's something about not feeling emotionally balanced in the current moment. Like if they, like for example, like this person could feel like I'm being bombarded with so many different emotions and thoughts that if I speak to Aquarian right now, it's going to come off confusing, or I'm going to say something that I don't mean. And so I see someone who's wanting to feel more emotionally balanced, or kind of like organize their thoughts, if you will, prior to coming forward, but they are really wanting to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you. There's a sense of guilt that they feel, and definitely disappointment that's being highlighted here. The King of Wands. Aquarius, I feel like for some of you, this person feels like they are the opposite of you. Like they're like the way they operate, or the way that they, show that they care, or the things that they're wanting from this connection. Like it's very it's almost like two opposing energies coming together here, right? I don't really think it's creating a block, because the King of Wands is someone who's, determined to connect with you. There's a lot of, attraction and passion. But I think there's more of a focus on, can we come back from a brutal ending or a betrayal? Or is that, like a deal breaker? Seven of Wands. They feel like you have a guard up with them. Some of you set very clear boundaries. Okay. For others of you, you could have quite literally blocked this person, especially if you felt like the only way that I could heal or move on is by not speaking to them at all. And so now it's like they want to reconnect with you, but they're like, how do I break down that barrier? Or will I have access to Aquarian the same way that I have in the past? Like, is that even a possibility? I also feel like with the Seven of Wands, that's an energy of like standing your ground. So this person may feel like you've made a firm decision and you are not going to backtrack, or they're having a hard time figuring out what they can say or do to even potentially change your mind. The Magician. Hoping for the best is what I see. The Fool card, yeah. Hoping for the best, but like I think that this is a week where they're feeling more confident in terms of actually taking a leap of faith towards you, with the Fool card being upright. But I think that in the back of their mind, they know that something of the past has the potential to resurface, or you are disappointed by their actions where you're not going to buy what they're telling you. It's going to be, they're going to have to really prove themselves to you, is something that I sense in their energy or their feelings here. The Justice card. Justice card is about being truthful or doing the right thing, even if it feels difficult. And I feel strongly this person wants to restore balance in this connection. The way that things ended, they feel like it was very one-sided, specifically the communication. So what I mean by that is like, maybe before or leading up to an ending, or as it occurred, right? Maybe this person feels like they were able to share their perspective but didn't give you the opportunity to do so. Or maybe you made something very clear but they were refraining from opening up emotionally, and they want to utilize the opportunity in the current moment to be open with you, to tell you how they really feel or how an ending made them feel. The Hierophant. Okay, some of you could be dealing with a Taurus. What's the Magician? The Ace of Cups. Wow. So you have someone here who has a deep desire to have a new start with you, but also have things feel a lot more stable. There's something that they've learned where they, about you, about themselves, where they're ready for some form of elevation here. They just don't know if you are going to let down a guard, if you are willing to trust them again. The Queen of Pentacles. Wow. And the Queen of Pentacles is like when someone is viewing you as their version of an ideal partner. But I see that they were uncertain when it came to the when they, in the past, when they were investing in this connection, there was a lot of uncertainty. But in the now, I think they're very firm in their decision. That's what I see in the cards. Justice card, Two of Pentacles. They feel like the ball is in your court. They feel like ultimately it's up to you, because they can sense that, or they know that you currently do not trust them. They're still going to come forward and try to have a new beginning here. And you will see that there's either like a difference in their maturity levels, or they're approaching you in a different manner. But Two of Pentacles could be like when you're going back and forth and making a decision, or if this person has reached out to you, you're taking your time with responding this week. Okay. So that's what I'm getting for you guys. Moving on to Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Let's see. The person on your mind and their current feelings towards you. Okay, so we have the Knight of Swords on the bottom of the deck, and we have the Chariot. Some of you could be dealing with a Cancer, okay, or an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. I see an incoming message, okay, that changes the pace of this bond here. And Knight of Swords could be a bit of an impulsive energy. So someone is thinking of you and they're like, I want to reach out, and they just reach out to you without overanalyzing it. And the Chariot is all about progress or forward movement. But I see a change in the pace of this bond, right? So if it has been progressing slowly, or maybe it has been at a standstill, they're definitely going to feel like things are, picking up the pace here. How is this person feeling about Pisces? Okay, Knight of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups. Some of you could be dealing with a Taurus or a Scorpio. So something has been stagnant between you and this individual for quite some time, but I see, some sort of progress taking place. Now, here's what I will say. This is someone who is offering you something stable, but with the Seven of Cups, there may have been like mixed emotions or mixed signals in the past that they want to speak about, or they want to clear up some sort of confusion between the both of you. Okay. Now, the Knight of Pentacles could also be someone who takes like a while, like an energy of taking a while to make a decision, but once they make a decision, it's like they're firm on it. They're viewing you as someone with a lot of options, or they feel like the choice is yours, because the Seven of Cups could also be, choices that you have, or if the choice is yours in a situation. So they could be confused about where you stand or how you're going to respond, but they're very sure about investing in you or offering you something stable. The Death card, heavy Scorpion energy. I think that if there was an ending in the past here between the both of you, or a separation, that's definitely something they want to speak about. And the Death card could also be, yes, it does touch on an ending, but it also touches on like an awakening as well, like some form of rebirth, where it's like waking up to what is, and what you're desiring and what you need to do in order to attain that. So maybe this person felt very stuck mentally for quite some time, but in the now, they're like, I'm ready to take action. The Seven of Wands. I think that this is someone who's very protective of you or the connection with you. There's a lot that they keep to themselves when it comes to this connection, or they're very private. But I also feel with the Seven of Wands, like they are viewing you as having some sort of a guard up, or looking at the situation like you don't entirely trust it. And it could be because of the confusion, in the past year. Page of Cups. Yeah. This is someone who really admires you, and they feel connected to you on an emotional level, but they feel like there is more to explore, or there's more to understand and get to know about you, in particular with that Page of Cups energy. This is someone who's very curious, right? And I also feel, guys, like with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, like there's like an emotional confession or an energy of this person being vulnerable with you this week, and it's making you very happy. Seven of Cups, the Hanged Man. What's the Death card? The High Priestess. Yeah, so there has been, this definitely is a connection where there were either a lot of delays, or it has been at a standstill where the both of you were not speaking to each other for, X amount of time. Now, it seems to me that this week you're doing more listening than speaking. And they're viewing you as someone who's keeping something to yourself, almost in an energy of like, you know more than you show. That's the High Priestess, right? So, like, if there is something that you're upset about, maybe they feel like the frustration or aggression is a little bit passive, like you're not speaking about it, but you're thinking about it, or you're feeling certain emotions. But they feel like you're doing more analyzing, and you're hearing them out, right? But you're analyzing them to see if you're going to buy what they say, basically. So they feel like they are almost under like a microscope. Like, you're really paying attention to the details and what they're telling you. Four of Pentacles. This is someone who wants structure, stability with you. There may have been some sort of financial constraints that they were going through in the past, that they're slowly working through in the current. Five of Swords. So ever since like a period of stagnation or separation, they've felt very conflicted about you and this connection with you. They are moving towards you, but not only is there a lack of clarity, there's a sense of knowing what they want, but not really knowing if a guard is going to be removed. Like not really knowing if you're going to trust the situation to allow them, space in your life. The Ace of Pentacles. Wow. What's the Five of Swords? The Justice card. So this is like wanting to make something right. If there's something you guys are not seeing eye to eye on, if there has been a disagreement in the past, they want to make things right. It could even be in the form of an apology, or just like a discussion. Even if it results in like a compromise, they want to move on from a disagreement or a conflict here. The High Priestess, the Queen of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, the World card. This communication could be taking place online, okay? But they want to put a cycle to an end, or they want to let go of the past and move forward. But here's what I will say. High Priestess and Queen of Swords is not only a highly observant energy that you're in, they feel like it's going to take a lot of work to break down some sort of barrier between the both of you. Okay? So it's like they know this is not going to be a walk in the park, but if, like, when they're conversing with you, maybe some of you are already conversing with this person as you're watching my read, they can sense that you are very, like, in a very stern or assertive energy. And they're like, is Pisces potentially going to lift that boundary? That's what's crossing their mind. Okay? So that is what I'm getting for you guys this week. I really do hope you were able to find a message that resonated with you here today. And thank you so much for your time.